excited for today because I have a special guest on with me who is also not just a mom, but a boss. And if you're watching with me right now, live or even on the replay, and you own your own business or you are a working mom with kids and you know what the struggle is like day in and day out, this is for you and you want to stick around. And if you are watching this on the replay, please don't be shy because she's going to answer questions. She'll come back and answer questions to us. And I'm so excited. So, this is a great topic, especially now as we're getting close to summer, as the kids are getting out of school in, gosh, less than a month, at least where I am. And many of us still work from home or we own our own businesses and we do that from home. We're going to have the kids around and we are going to feel more than ever like we have to juggle everything at once and be performing at high levels all the time. And then we end up forgetting about ourselves. So, joining me today is somebody who's going to help us with this because myself, as a multi business owner, and a wife and a mom of two, I know what it's like to feel like we have to do it all and do it all perfectly. And we really can't. I don't know about you, but sometimes I think I'm really Wonder Woman, and I'm not. And things fall through the crack, and I forget what I did yesterday, and it doesn't feel so great. So I'm gonna pop her up right now, and let's say hello to Marilyn, nice having you here today. Thank you so much for joining us.
So excited to
Um,
be here.
yeah. Oh my gosh. So first, I want to first let everyone know who you are, what you do, and so let me pull up your little bio because I don't want to chop this up because honestly, you are a bad ASS. Um, and so okay, she is not only a mom, like I just mentioned, but she also runs her own business and knows what it's like, or what it used to be like, to feel exhausted and overwhelmed and even unhappy. So we're gonna be super raw and real today. And I hope that those of you that are watching live or even on the replay that you feel comfortable enough to also just, let's just have a conversation as women, as moms, as business owners, as human beings. And um, so Marilyn knew that there was a way to stay true to herself and enjoy her dreams, enjoy motherhood, and level up her business. And she has found it, and she's going to share with us some of those tips today. And now she is super passionate about helping business women owning moms find balance between making life simple but powerful and making those powerful life shifts as well. So, her approach to business and motherhood and self care is loving who you are and who you see in the mirror, which is super important, and kissing that mom guilt goodbye. So, welcome and thank you for being on.
Yeah,
So, I want you to start by letting everyone know a little bit more about you.
yeah,
And yeah, let's start with that.
yeah, absolutely. So I started my first business when I was in my 20s, and I worked for about a decade before I first became a mom. And it was work really hard and play hard. And I experienced guilt 24/7 back then, because when I was working, I just felt like I wasn't getting the results that I wanted to get in my business. Like
Mhm.
it was never good enough, no matter what I had going on. And then, I needed a break. And back then I would party pretty hard because I just needed to like really numb out of that.
Mhm.
But then I would feel guilty whenever I took rest or took time off. And because, my business was my first baby. And so, truth be told, because we talked about creating a really safe space for honesty and transparency today, I was terrified
Mhm.
when I got pregnant the first time. Um, I literally, it felt like everything I had been working for was about to slip through my fingers. Like
Mhm.
I had to push pause, but I was just building momentum in a new venture, actually, my second venture. And I was scared. I was like, I'm not ready. And, it's really funny because that was as hard as the years before had been, just working hard and devoting my life to my business. That first year
Mhm.
as a mom spread me really, really thin. Um, and it was on all three levels. Physical, obviously, I wasn't getting a lot of sleep. I was exhausted. I was working during her naps. Um, so mentally, I was drained. Emotionally, I was a wreck. I felt
Yeah.
I felt like I wasn't good enough in any area of my life. Um, I felt undervalued, underappreciated. And so when I got pregnant with my son, my second, I had this huge aha moment one day. I mean, it hit me like a brick. And it was just that, you know, bringing a newborn into what I had going on, the business. I was a wife. I was going to have a 2-year old in the background
Mhm.
too that still needed me. I was like, there's no way I can keep this up. It was literally like, there's no way can keep this up. So I was on a timeline. That baby was coming, you know, and I was like, I've got to find a different way to do this. I have to find a different way to do this because I won't be able to keep it up. And that's
Yeah.
what led to mindset, which changed everything for me. True
I
mind.
feel like I feel like everything that you just said was a very similar timeline of my same experience of becoming a mom. And um although I was in corporate America at the time, but yeah, just constant, and that was, I would say the same thing. That was my first baby,
Yeah,
my job. And
absolutely.
the way that you just, I don't think I've ever heard it that way, and it totally makes sense.
hmm Really,
Yeah.
really dedicated to that. Totally devoted to it.
Yeah. And then something else that you said, the part about numbing yourself.
Yeah.
It's
Turns into
so,
mine.
that is so true.
Turns into
And
mine.
nobody actually speaks about that. So thank you so much for saying those like true things. And I hope, again, for those of you that are watching, will also, just drop a line, let us know what you think about that, and if you have ever felt this way too. So um we actually met. I love how we connected. So we connected because we were both co-authors in the Overcoming Mediocrity books.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and I don't know if it did it for you the same way for me, but that actually was I would have to say, like, the very first stepping stone where I finally was able to share more of my story in a real authentic way, to
Yeah.
connect with more women in business and entrepreneurs. And so it's awesome. I'm glad that it connected us.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I really resonate with that because I talked about something that I'm pretty passionate about, and I think we all fall into. It's something I call the gratitude trap. And basically, what this is sorry. Basically, what this is that we think, like, we look around at our lives. I know for me personally, it was like, I have things so much better than when I grew up. I have
Mhm.
more to take care of my kids. I've got, my parents divorced pretty young. I was like, I'm married. I've got a great husband. What is there to complain about? What is there to be unhappy about? And so on top of all the other negative feelings and overwhelm that I had, I would throw
Mhm.
myself into this gratitude trap, right? Where it's like, don't talk about this. Don't complain. Don't ask
Mhm.
for help. You've got it so good. And that really throws us into what I consider a trap, because gratitude is supposed to fuel abundance, right? It doesn't mean that because we have that we can't aspire for more and desire more. That's not being ungrateful, right? That
Right.
spirit within us pushing us to our greatest good. And
Yeah.
but for so long, we don't talk about it, and it seems like everyone else is able to do it. So it's like we either like
Mhm.
really kumbaya together in the pain and the struggle, joke about it, but never really like fix it, or we
Right.
just throw that super mom smile and just act like everything's fine because we think
Right.
it seems like everyone else is fine, so why aren't we? And so I really appreciated being the opportunity to share that piece of my experience in the book.
Awesome. Awesome. I haven't read your story. I don't think that I've read that book specifically, but I'm going to go to it now that I know the exact one.
Yeah.
Um so all right. So I have some questions for you because, and I'm just gonna like throw this out there. Um, and I think these are questions that people are probably wondering too.
Okay.
So I'm gonna be the voice for today
Yeah,
for
let's
them.
do it.
So first thing is when we talk about ditching the boss mom hustle, and I know this is actually a very common hashtag that I've even used, like,
Yeah,
yay, boss mom, right? I even
me
have a
too.
t-shirt, boss mom.
Yeah,
But when we think about it in reality, like literally, boss mom, it does feel like a hustle.
yeah,
And so, what do you feel is honestly the problem with that constant hustle mentality that you have to be like in the grind, on the go all the time? And how does that affect us?
yeah. I love this. I love this. So I literally, my first group when I started coaching was badass mom bosses. Bam. You know, was like I was all up in it too, because for a moment it was inspiring, and I think the whole point of it is to be inspiring and to show our
Right.
potential and to say that we can be more than one thing, which is really cool. What I think the problem that has happened with it, right, is not desiring more success, um, and really the competition that we feel when we feel not good
Mm,
enough compared to some of these millionaire moms or mompreneurs and stuff, that is
right.
us, right? Because that shouldn't make it any worse. That should inspire us.
Mhm.
The problem solely lies in the hustle, the approach. And it's
Mhm.
really not our fault. I don't blame us. We live, American society is very much hustle and grind. We see the corporate push, with salary and crazy hours, same
Mhm.
we do in our businesses, and then we're spread. But there are a couple really big problems with it. One, um, is that we have been so focused on providing for our kids. We're told to focus, provide for your kids, provide for them later, set them up for success by basically giving them our own. And kind of like it's okay to sacrifice these younger years to give them that later, almost like they won't
Mhm.
remember.
Yeah.
No, right? No. So, what the way that we are living our lives is critical in setting our kids up for true success, right? They can't do anything with our success. We can't pass that down to them, and they need to be able to take it and run. And
Mhm.
so in early childhood development, they are learning so much simply by the way we live our lives. They come into this world as blank slates. We forget because we just know life so well. We forget that they don't know anything about what's normal in the world. And
Right.
so when they see us stressed, when they see us constantly accepting unhappiness, exhaustion, low self care, saying yes to people when we should be or want to be saying no, these are the
Mhm.
habits they're then going to pick up. And that's how they're going to live their life. And I think we're all trying to work so hard to free them from that. And what we're not recognizing and we're not talking about enough is that we're actually passing on these
Yeah.
limitations, right? We're passing them on. So, it's very, very powerful as parents, as leaders, to find a way to achieve success where we are being healthy and happy. It sounds a little cliche, healthy and happy, but truly healthy and happy
Yeah.
along the way, present in our lives, not sacrificing it for later.
Mhm.
So that's like that for me as a parent is something that really shifted. Like, okay, you're telling me if I take better care of myself and I learn to do this a better way, I'm actually going to be better for them. I was pretty sold on that. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
let's start putting me first because you know what? I hear that. That rings loud and clear in my head. So that was when I had a really big flip. But the other piece that we really forget, and we do know better, we know this, but just a gentle reminder, you know, cognitive function decreases so much when we are
Mm.
running on low batteries. when we're not getting good sleep, it's not just about eating well and workouts, right? It is about not forcing so much on the brain, to where
Mhm.
we've got headaches every night. Water, sleep, and being happy and inspired. These lead to overall wellness and increase our performance, our productivity, our efficiency. So, as moms, we're super overwhelmed, running around feeling very spread thin. And so we
Mhm.
say, I have no time for self care. But really, we're not doing things as well as we could. We're not being creative problem solvers. We're not being resourceful, right? So many things that go along with, performance as a mom, performance in the workplace. Um, our best self, our highest performing self, is not showing up every day.
Yeah.
So it's really, we are in a culture that is like, yes, you should be proud of your work ethic. I think it's time that we redefine, the merits that we want to praise.
Right. Yeah, and I will be honest, like I've been called a hustler.
Yeah.
And so and I now with being a mom, my youngest is going to be 11 in a month, and
Okay.
my oldest just turned 16. So those all these years that I've had with them, the older they get, the more I am noticing that wow, I hustled way too much during those younger years because
Yeah.
there's things that they it just goes by so fast and then you forget, right? So I'm learning more and more as I get older to be living more in the present and to try and and slow down and also know that if this doesn't get done today, nobody's gonna die. It's
The world doesn't
okay.
stop
It's
spinning.
it's
Yeah.
right. The world keeps going without
Yeah.
Gina Tassinelli getting this one thing done
Yeah.
today. So, yeah, everything that you're saying is so, so true. And just having somebody there in your ear to like, another mom too that's also in business that can relate to give us like that refresher because these are things that we know.
Yes,
We
we
just keep
do.
going.
Yes.
We
Yeah.
just keep going. So what do you think, like, give us some tips on what should we do instead of that constant, like, on the go hustle?
Yeah. Yes. So, okay, this is a great question because we, like you just said, right? We do know better. We get
Mhm,
it, but it feels like probably exactly how I felt when I had my aha moment. It's like, how do we do this any differently? How can we make that flip? Because it feels like a very hard thing to do, to take
mhm,
you where you've always put yourself at the bottom and now fit it in. Like, how do I slow down? Right. Um, and so this is really where we get into what is true mindset. Okay. Because I was a self help junkie, personal development, 4 years, all the seminars, lots of different business coaches, strategies. So, goal achievement, right? Any goal, right? For life, for business, for the day, any activity is mindset, strategy, action. And so, we are very often focused on changing our behavior or changing a strategy to get different results.
mhm,
But really, what I have found is the easiest way to go and create the shifts is to focus on the mindset. There is a driver in our belief system that is dictating, determining the action that we take. So, the effortless way to create change is to really go in and figure out, like, why do I feel I have to do it this way? And try to understand what is it that I'm thinking? What's the story I'm telling myself about all this,
mhm,
right? Because when you can change that story, it is so cool. We've never been taught the power of our programming. When you change the story, the action changes automatically. Um, we've been so focused and so ingrained, conditioned our whole lives through school. Report cards, get good grade, knowledge is power. but our behavior is not determined by what we know. Obviously, we know self care is important and we put ourselves at the bottom of the list. It's the easiest example that demonstrates knowledge does not drive behavior. So it's a belief system. So we've got to go in there and listen to what are the stories we're telling ourselves. Are we saying, hey, um, you know, their their needs are more important than mine, right?
Mhm.
You kind of look. It's a hard story to hear,
Mm.
the hard one to open ourselves up to and be honest about. But look at what's happening in life. Are we putting everyone else's needs and wants, above our most basic needs? And so if you go ask why, what's the story in there? And it's like,
Yeah.
well, there could be a story that, um, I don't deserve their love, their friendship, whatever, unless I'm able to do for them. Right. So that's a
Mm.
story of, lacking self worth.
Right.
Right. I know we're cutting a little deep here. Um,
No, but this is so true. And
yeah.
yeah, this is actually something that, for some, if you're somebody especially that says yes to a lot,
Yes.
but then you're finding yourself,
Everybody knows they
like you
can
said,
give it
not
to you to
having,
get it done. Right.
yeah, yeah, it's really just stopping and thinking, okay, take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Why am
Yeah.
I saying yes when I
Yeah.
know that inside I really don't want to say yes for one,
Right.
and it's not going to help me
Yeah.
and
It's a great
help,
example.
everyone
Right.
else.
Yeah. Why do we not set boundaries? Why do we
Hmm.
say yes when we really want to say no? And if you can answer that question, you can discover a belief in there that is limiting you, right?
Right.
Limiting us. And when we can change that story, like, hey, it's okay if I say no, they're still going to like
Hmm.
me if I say no, right? If we can change that story, then it's so much easier to say no. We can say no without guilt, right? We can stay true to ourselves. Um, so I can definitely share things like other tips. Like one of the biggest ones is, if you have a daily thing that's reoccurring in your life, a daily challenge, like kids never have their backpacks, you can never find your keys, things like that. Look, we can change the way we're doing some things, and this may create a
Hmm.
little some instant changes, and I can share some of those. And you go and you look and you say, let's solve one problem today. How can I do this one thing that's coming up every single day? Can I have a conversation with my boss? Can I hang up a coat rack for the kids' backpacks, right? Can I set a bowl on the table for the car keys? Like something that's getting you every day. Can I make the lunches the night before? Whatever it is, look for a daily trigger or a constant trigger in your life. Something is over and over and over upsetting you.
Hmm.
Focus on just one little thing at a time. Because once you change it, you shouldn't have to do it again,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
And you can do some incremental growth and progress that way, you know? Um, and that's just like that's a little bit outside of mindset, but it's still taking a new approach to problem
Yeah.
solving. Like be more present in your day, reflect what's not working, what do I not like? And say, let's take one thing I don't like and let's change it. Let's change it.
Right.
So I mean, we can
I
do
like
time
that.
things, and problem solving here, but we've got to slow down. The key, no matter whether you're changing the behavior or you're changing the mindset, the key is take a moment to stop. Take a
Hmm.
moment to stop and think, what do I like? What's not working? What don't I like? What do I want to stop doing? What would I like to do more of?
Yeah. And
You
just
know,
being more aware.
power of
So,
awareness
and
is
right.
huge.
And that's that stopping for, a moment and just think what is
Yes. Pay
exactly.
attention, be present, be intentional.
Yeah. So, when you and I were talking the other day, something was brought up. I was talking to you about how, and I actually kind of referred to it a few moments ago too, about how it wasn't until becoming a mom that I really started to realize some of these things in me, that hustleness in me. I notice it in my daughter, for example.
Mhm.
And and seeing that in her and not wanting that for her is truly what, in addition to other things, like forgetting things, feeling like I'm not present, people telling me you're not present, you're not listening. But then when I see it in my daughter, also that constant go, that has really also made me more aware of those things that I need to change within me. So tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about that, because that for me was like an aha moment for me.
Yes. Yes. Because sometimes we think as moms that, especially working moms, like it's too late, or I don't have time to change. I don't have time to invest in myself. But I personally believe that motherhood is the perfect time because just
Hmm.
like you were painting that picture, our kids become this really cool mirror for us, right? So just like the story you were just giving, um, and how you just mentioned the power of awareness,
Hmm.
before in my life, I didn't see a lot of these things. These same things were happening when I was simply just married and had my business. Boundaries I didn't have with my husband, putting him before me, putting my business before me, um, or before my marriage. Um, but I didn't see them. I didn't have the
Hmm.
awareness the way that I do now when I see something with my kids. Um, so, like for me, a really good example, this happened a while back. Um, we went to a play place, my son and my daughter. So, my kids are 4 and 2 now. And my daughter doesn't usually have really big meltdowns. Like she's a sassy, spirited little thing. But those like big meltdowns, we just don't really have those. Well, we were at a play place and we were getting ready to go, and she lost it. Like one of those on the floor, kicking and screaming, no, don't touch me. We're not going. And moment really quick as the emotions and the adrenaline start going, you know, oh my gosh, like this is embarrassing. I'm going to tell her she's embarrassing me. But then it's cool. I had a moment where I was like, wait, no, I'm going to tell her she's embarrassing myself or herself. And then I was
Yeah.
like, wait, no. Like all the moms I work with, myself, my own experience, is judgment not one of the things that holds us back the most? Like,
Right.
if I'm going to sit there and tell her that she's embarrassing, whether it's me or her, that's teaching her to be worried about the opinions of others. And so it was so
Yeah.
powerful right there in that moment because I was able to maintain a sense of control and stay in the moment. And um, I was able to go through that whole process and be like, I don't want to pass this on. I will never say the words embarrassing around my kids
Hmm.
anymore. And I'm not going to let myself be held back by embarrassment or, you know, um, and that was a powerful moment. I know it will be a powerful moment. And it was a really powerful moment for me. They are our reflections. They are reflections of us. They learn from us. We think our
Hmm.
kids are being, bad. Their behavior is just their communication. And they've learned something from us. When we
Yeah.
when we spank because they hit, what are we really teaching them? We
Right.
yell because they yell. What are we really teaching them? So this is the power of intention, being present,
Hmm.
and staying under control. And it's very hard to stay present and in control, be emotionally resilient and calm, which I think is totally a supermom power. Um, when you're not at high energy, when you're not taking care of yourself.
Right. And when you have tons of things going on and you feel like
Right.
you have to do them all, and it's all,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, because
You know,
you lose your patience a lot quicker,
absolutely.
and you're irritable. Absolutely.
Distracted.
Totally.
So
Um, so I am excited because I know we're going to be able to hear a lot more of your tips and strategies and all of this goodness inside of an upcoming workshop that you're doing.
yes.
So tell us more about that. And I'm actually going to drop the link
Awesome.
here in the chat as well. Yeah. So tell us about the workshops. First of all, when is it?
Okay, so it's coming up next Wednesday. It's noon Pacific, 3 o'clock Eastern. It'll
Cool.
be on Zoom live with me, so it's not just webinar style. I'm going to be doing some one on one coaching. We're going to be going through some exercises and sharing stories so we can learn and grow together again in a very safe space. So, very, very excited about that.
Awesome. And it's free. And and so tell us a little, I know it's like workshoppy, but what kinds
What
of
are we going to be
topics
doing?
are we going to
Yeah.
workshop
Okay.
on?
So, what I want to, help people understand, really get a firmer grasp on is, like I said, this true idea of mindset and our programming, right? Because mindset has become a little bit of a buzzword.
Mhm.
But when you understand why you do the things that you do when you know you shouldn't, or why you don't do things that you like really want to do. We procrastinate, we are perfectionists, things like that. Those are forms of self-sabotage, right? So if we want to change some of that, when we eat cake when we're on a diet, all these things, if we want to understand how to get in control of our behavior, like, for example, we're at a party, we're on a diet, we don't want to eat the birthday cake. We're literally screaming inside, like, just keep walking past the table. We go and we grab a piece of that cake, and then we feel guilty later. Why is it so hard to get our behavior to line up with the action that we want to take? The things we want to do. So, I'm definitely going to be giving people an insight into the power of our programming. Um, that is what really allowed me to change my life. Because
Mhm.
I said, we all know we're all very intelligent women, we're all very successful in that sense. Um, but we all have some kind of limitations that are driving us, things that we want to do better. And so when you understand that, right, and I call it the knowing doing gap, when you can understand how to close that gap, so
Mhm.
that you do what you know you should be doing, man, life can change so quickly and so effortlessly. So I want to bring a lot of attention to that for people. So it's very important to me that we understand, or I mean, that we spend some time together that is going to have you walking away, being able to create some change in your life. We're too
Yeah.
busy to spend an hour together with fluff. So, my hope is that I will inspire you to focus more on um, investing in yourself
Mhm.
versus trying to fix things outside of you. So, we're going to do that. I'm going to
I
show you
love it.
what's keeping you from being confident, what the biggest ways that we self-sabotage and how to change that. So there's going to be a lot of good takeaways.
Awesome. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for it. And I just dropped the link down below, both inside of Stylishly Branding page and Style Rebel Mama page. If you're
Awesome.
watching this on my personal profile, I will drop it right when we get off. And tell us where everyone can find you. Where can they follow you on social?
Yeah. So on social, whether it's Facebook or Instagram, it's Success with MRS, or Success with Mrs. If it's easier to remember that way.
I
I'm
love it.
Marilyn Risonier. So that's where that comes from. So Success with MRS, that's also my website, successwithmrs.com. So any of those places, you can get some information about me and how I help working moms.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being on. Guys, if I know most people I think are probably going to watch on the replay. Somebody's on right now though. If you have any questions while we're on, feel free to drop it right now. We'll wait a few moments and yeah,
Okay.
you're good with time, right? I'm good with
Yeah,
time. So,
absolutely.
yeah. Um and if you are watching this on the replay and you have any questions for Marilyn, please do not be shy. Drop them below. And I would love to see you guys at the workshop. So I plan on being there. And I can't wait to pass this around too, because I know with all of the moms that I personally work with, um, yeah, I know a few that could definitely use this workshop because we talk about these topics all the time about just feeling like we're constantly on the go and,
Yeah.
feeling overwhelmed. And so I think it's amazing what you're doing, and more people need to hear you because
Yeah.
we
Thank you
all
so
need
much.
that.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
feel free. Anybody can share this with anyone. It is free. Anyone can come. Anyone that needs it.
awesome. Awesome. All right. I don't see any questions. So we will let you guys go. Again, if you're watching this on the replay, don't be shy. Let us know if you have any questions and make sure to click that link and register for the upcoming workshop. All right. See you guys later.
Thanks, Gina.
Bye.